In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and lush green meadows lived a grandmother named Eleanor. The villagers fondly called her Grandma Elle. She was a petite woman with a crown of silvery hair that glistened like spun moonlight. Her eyes, a warm hazel, twinkled with the wisdom of her years and the kindness of her heart. Her home, a cozy cottage draped in ivy and surrounded by a riot of colorful flowers, was a place of solace and love for all who visited. Grandma Elle had a special relationship with her grandson, Noah. Noah, a bright and curious 10-year-old, spent every summer with her, escaping the hustle and bustle of the city where he lived with his parents. The village, with its gentle pace and serene beauty, was a magical world to him, and Grandma Elle's cottage was its heart. One summer, Noah arrived at the village, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. He leaped out of the car and into Grandma Elle's waiting arms. She hugged him tightly, her heart swelling with joy. Noah's parents waved goodbye and drove away, leaving him in the loving care of his grandmother. "Noah, my dear, I've been waiting for you," Grandma Elle exclaimed, her voice a melodic blend of warmth and excitement. "I've missed you, Grandma," Noah replied, his voice muffled against her shoulder. That evening, after a hearty dinner of Grandma Elle's famous chicken pot pie, they sat by the fireplace. The flames danced merrily, casting a golden glow across the room. Grandma Elle pulled out a worn, leather-bound book from the shelf. Noah's eyes lit up, for this was no ordinary book. It was the Book of Stories, a treasure trove of tales that Grandma Elle had collected over the years. "Tonight, I have a special story for you," she said, her voice soft and mysterious. "It's a story about a magical garden." Noah leaned in, eager to hear more. Grandma Elle opened the book, and as she began to read, Noah was transported into the world of the story. Long ago, in a land far away, there was a garden unlike any other. It was called the Garden of Whispers. Hidden deep within an ancient forest, the garden was a place where plants and flowers could talk. The trees whispered secrets to each other, the flowers sang lullabies, and the vines told tales of old. The garden was tended by a kind-hearted woman named Amara. Amara had inherited the garden from her grandmother, who had inherited it from her own grandmother. It was a place of wonder, but also of responsibility. The garden's magic needed to be nurtured, and Amara took this duty very seriously. One day, as Amara was tending to the roses, she heard a soft sobbing. She followed the sound and found a young boy sitting by the pond, tears streaming down his face. "Hello there," Amara said gently. "Why are you crying?" The boy looked up, his eyes red and swollen. "I'm lost," he whispered. "I can't find my way home." Amara's heart ached for the boy. She knelt beside him and took his hand. "Don't worry, my dear. We'll find a way to get you home. But first, let me show you something." She led the boy deeper into the garden, where the air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers. She brought him to a small clearing where a magnificent tree stood. Its trunk was wide and gnarled, its branches spread out like welcoming arms. "This is the Tree of Wishes," Amara explained. "It has the power to grant the deepest desires of your heart, but you must be honest and true in your wish." The boy looked at the tree, his eyes wide with wonder. He closed his eyes tightly and whispered his wish. The tree's leaves rustled, and a soft golden light enveloped the boy. When the light faded, he found himself standing at the edge of his village, his home in sight. He turned back to thank Amara, but she and the garden had vanished, leaving only the whisper of leaves in the wind. As Grandma Elle finished the story, Noah's eyes were wide with awe. "Grandma, is the Garden of Whispers real?" he asked, his voice full of wonder. "Who knows, my dear?" Grandma Elle replied with a wink. "Some say it's just a story, but others believe it's a real place, hidden somewhere in the world. What matters is the magic we carry in our hearts." The summer days passed in a blur of joy and adventure. Grandma Elle and Noah explored the village, baked cookies, and tended to the flower garden that surrounded the cottage. Every evening they would sit by the fireplace, and Grandma Elle would read another story from the Book of Stories. One day while they were weeding the garden, Noah found a small old key buried in the soil. He held it up, the sunlight glinting off the tarnished metal. "Look, Grandma, what do you think this opens?" Noah asked, his eyes shining with curiosity. Grandma Elle took the key and examined it closely. "This, my dear, looks like a very old key indeed. It must open something very special. Together, they searched the cottage for a lock that the key might fit. They tried every drawer, cupboard, and chest, but none yielded to the key. Then, as they were about to give up, Noah noticed a small, ornate box on the top shelf of Grandma Elle's wardrobe. "What's in there, Grandma?" he asked, pointing to the box. Grandma Elle's eyes widened with surprise. "Why, I had almost forgotten about that box. It belonged to my grandmother." They carefully brought the box down and tried the key. With a soft click, the lock turned and the box opened. Inside, they found an old map, yellowed with age and covered in intricate drawings. "It's a map," Noah said, his voice filled with excitement. "But a map to what?" Grandma Elle studied the map, a smile spreading across her face. "This, my dear Noah, is a map to the Garden of Whispers." Noah's heart raced. "You mean it's real?" "Yes," Grandma Elle replied, "and it seems my grandmother left this map for us to find. Perhaps it's time for an adventure." The next morning, armed with the map and a backpack full of supplies, Noah and Grandma Elle set off into the forest. They followed the map's winding path, through dense woods and over babbling brooks. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with the scent of flowers, and the sounds of nature seemed to whisper around them. After hours of walking, they reached a clearing, just like the one in the story. In the center stood a magnificent tree, its branches spread out like welcoming arms. Noah's heart swelled with awe and excitement. "It's the Tree of Wishes," he whispered. Grandma Elle nodded, her eyes shining with wonder. "Yes, it is." Noah approached the tree, feeling a sense of reverence. He closed his eyes and made a wish, whispering it to the tree. The leaves rustled and a soft, golden light enveloped him. When he opened his eyes, he felt a warmth in his heart, a feeling of deep, abiding love. Grandma Elle hugged him tightly. "Remember, Noah, the magic of the garden is in the love and kindness we carry in our hearts. That's the true magic." As they made their way back home, Noah felt a sense of peace and happiness he had never known before. The summer days continued, filled with love, laughter, and the magic of stories. And every time Noah looked at the old key and the map, he was reminded of the adventure he shared with his grandmother and the magical garden where wishes came true. Years later, when Noah had grown up and had children of his own, he passed on the stories and the key to his daughter. He told her about the magical summer he spent with Grandma Elle and the adventure they shared. And so, the love and magic of Grandma Elle lived on, carried forward in the hearts of those who believed in the wonder of stories and the power of love.